guys, a customer asked me to make a Monsters Incorporated themed cake. So I'm making a two-tier to represent the two main monsters, Sulley and Mike. This top tier represents Mike. I like to smooth the icing with a hot spatula first, and then once I get it pretty smooth, I switch over to the Viva paper towel method. That's where you use the smooth side of the Viva towel and a fondant smoother, and using light pressure, you can smooth the icing out. Really smooth this way. You can almost get it to look like fondant, really, if you keep at it. If you try this method, make sure you're using a paper towel that has no pattern or design, or else the pattern will get transferred to your cake, so you don't want that. So make sure it's got a smooth surface. I put the top tier in the fridge to get cold, and now I'm working on the bottom tier, and I've added some buttercream to the top where the top cake will sit, because this tier is going to be covered in buttercream fur. So I wanted to make sure I had some buttercream so that when they take the top tier off, it's not a bald spot there. And so I'm doweling it. And when I tier a cake, I always use two boards. There'll be a board, that you'll see me put on right here. And of course, the top tier, Mike, already has a board under it. I do it that way so the customers can separate the cakes easy. If you just do one, then it's liable to rip off all the icing. Now here I'm showing that it's level, because if you dowel right, it should be level. Now comes the fun part, covering the cake in fur. This takes forever. I'm using tip 233, which is the grass tip. And you start at the bottom and go up. You can't start at the top of the cake and go down with fur. It has to layer on each other. So always start at the bottom. And if you're charging someone and they want a cake covered in fur, remember, it's an very easy design, but it does take a long time, so make sure you charge for your time. Now I'm doing a center dowel all the way through that'll go down to the cake board. I do that so the top cake will not shift in transportation. You hit your brakes hard or something, and customers aren't used to driving with cakes in their car, so I don't know how they're going to drive. So I always run a dowel all the way through, and then I'll just cover it up. You can't tell it's there. Now here you can see there's a gap where because I'm using two boards. Now if I wasn't covering it in fur and say I just had two normal buttercream cakes, I would go over that crack with the green icing and I would fill that in and smooth it out so nobody will know that there's a crack there. Here I'm able to just cover it up with the fur. Now that I've got the bottom tier done, it's time to move on and make Mike's one eyeball. I like doing character cakes, and this one is super easy. It's very beginner friendly, so if anyone's thinking that they might like to try it, go ahead and try it. You really can't mess this design up. It is. And it's a lot of fun. I like making character cakes. If there's a character cake you would like to see me make, let me know in the comment section down below. I've made so many character cakes. All of the Minnie and Mickey Mouse and Toy Story and Avengers and just all kinds of cakes. I would be happy to make some if there's a character you would like to see me do. Now here I'm making his horns. Now my hands are clean. I've washed them. I had to take the gloves off because they leave all these little imprints in the fondant. Drives me nuts. I need to find, I guess, some maybe better fitting gloves, but it just drives me nuts. So I take them off, wash my hands, and then I I proceed on with the decorating. Here I'm attaching the horns with just a little bit of buttercream. Now I need to dye some fondant to match the buttercream for his eyelid. And to color fondant, it's really easy. All you do is just put a little bit of gel coloring. Make sure you're using gel. And then you just knead and knead and knead, you know, until you get the color you want. Now, something to keep in mind, as fondant dries, it gets lighter in color. And as buttercream sits, it gets darker in color. So something to keep in mind if you're trying to match. You kind of have to guess at how in the end it's going to end up. Now see here, it made little marks in it. Ticks me off. Now I have to cut it out again. But yeah, they're very easy. And how you get the fondant to stick to fondant is just a little bit of water. Just use a little dab. It goes a long way. And fondant will stick to fondant. Hey, if you've enjoyed this video so far, please hit that like button and subscribe so YouTube will push it out to more people. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys. In case you're wondering, the flavors for both tiers is funfetti. So it's fun on the inside and fun on the outside. I actually don't charge extra for different flavors and fillings. The customer could have had 2 different cake flavors and 2 different fillings if they wanted. She just really likes the funfetti cake, so that's what we go with. Give them what they want. And finally, I'm doing the eyelid. I'm using circle cutters to cut it out. You know, if you're going to decorate, circle cutters is like almost a must. I mean, I don't know how I would get by without them. I am constantly using them. And this is a great set. I've probably had it for, I don't know, 20 years. And I can't think of the name of it at the moment, but I'll put it in the description box down below because it is a really good set of cutters. Very, very helpful. Well, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave me a comment or a suggestion on what cake you would like to see next. That would really help me out in planning. I'd like to do cakes that people want to watch, so let me know what you think. And I am finishing up with this cake, and here is the final design. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.